we got to talk about something and we got to address it as well. Because we've seen a lot of people talking about the trucker boycott of New York City, and many people are laughing at the truckers. They're like, yeah, the truckers, they can't boycott anything. They're probably going to get their jobs replaced by other people. Well, let me tell you guys, the trucking industry is facing a massive shortage. There's a 80,000 trucker shortage, and it's going to hit a 200,000 by the end of the decade. And I don't even think driverless semi-trucks like from Tesla could save you, because they still need at least one driver behind the wheel. So if you ask me, the trucking industry, right, they are very independent. They're not chained or slave to a specific corporation or broker. They could do whatever they want. And that's exactly what's happening. And guess what? The trucker boycott of New York City is still gaining a lot of steam. Many truckers are posting their own thoughts about it on X and TikTok. And at the end of the day, I'm seeing that there's a lot more loads than drivers. So check out this trucker on X. So the trucker industry in New York will go the way Miami has and just start handing out CDLs like candy. Yeah, screw New York. And if you look at this, you got the governor of New York recently agreed to a proposal that could make it easier for a lot of migrants without high school diplomas to get jobs in the state governments. And basically what a lot of people were talking about the trucker industry was, oh, these truckers who don't want to send their load to New York City because this guy doesn't. Okay, he posts several times that he will never go to New York City. Well, guess what? You could just replace all of them. It's not as simple as that. In fact, trying to get into the trucker industry is one of the hardest things to do. Not to mention the burnout rates are crazy. If you look at this guy, another trucker on X, he's basically saying that there are a lot more loads than truckers, especially in the New Jersey and New York area. He's been getting a lot of his data from all over the place. Many other drivers and truckers are saying the same thing. There seems to be a lot less trucks going through the arteries to New York City. Okay, and I could tell you, it's not just because of the Trump and New York City fraud case. It's also several different factors. New York City also has crazy amounts of crime. Not to mention NYPD is on you all the time when you go to New York City. Traffic is terrible, and trying to get in and out of the city is barely impossible. Well, I guess nowadays traffic isn't too bad outside New York City because so many drivers are just boycotting and refusing to go to New York. And what's really going on is there's a new toll, right? There's a brand new toll system from New Jersey to Midtown Manhattan. I think trucks are going to have to pay up to $36 whopping just to cross that bridge one time. You want to cross it again? Well, that's another $36. And let me tell you, even the state of New Jersey is trying to sue the MTA in New York City because of this crazy toll fee. Okay, even firemen, police officers, and teachers, doctors, nurses are not exempt from it, and they have to pay $15 to get through. Truckers have to pay even more. And no wonder truckers are sick and tired of New York City, and they don't want to go. Okay, even for the guys who don't like the Trump situation or are not political, some truckers are avoiding New York City because of the crazy amount of tolls. It is so expensive and so time consuming to go to New York City, and it's so anti-truck, and I mean the roads. So if you look at some of the other videos on TikTok, on X, you see a lot of roads are empty because of the trucker boycotts, and we're going to be seeing more emptiness as time goes on. Now that's a trucker update for you guys today, but we got lot of things to talk about with New York City, right? New York governor is now flipping on migrants yet again. Back in 2021, December, when they first started the whole migrant crisis and became a sanctuary city, a lot of New Yorkers were actually pretty happy about that, right? New York is built by migrants, and New York is basically got rich from migrants. That's just how it is. You know, it's the melting pot of the world. But when you have too many people, like almost 200,000 people all coming at once, and your cities run out of money, this is when people start noticing, okay, New York basically screwed themselves. Okay, so they started inviting all these different migrants coming in. New York's like, okay, we could do 2,000, 3,000, maybe 10,000 migrants. But they're doing like almost 200,000 people. That's like a small city's worth crammed into New York City, which is already super small and super crowded. People are crammed like sardines in that city. And now, if you check out what the New York governor is saying, without compromising our values, we're proud to have the Statue of Liberty in our harbor, but there also needs to be some common sense at the border area. And they need more border security. First time I hear that from the governor. And for those who are going to breach the border and come illegally. New York is grappling with a lot of migrants. Not to mention, it really boils down at the end of the day to just money alone. When you're spending $9.2 billion on the migrant crisis and people are getting more money than the SNAP benefits that poor Americans are getting, something's kind of wrong with the system, guys. Right? You know, migrants get like almost $14. Poor Americans for food stamps and SNAP get $8 to $9 a day. There's a pretty big difference, and no wonder New York City's going broke. They're spending enormous amounts of capital on this, whereas other cities around the world are spending enormous amounts of capital building their infrastructure, building train networks, building skyscrapers, and making their city prettier, cleaner, and better. New York City mayor is also calling an end to sanctuary city status. They're done. Okay. And let me tell you guys, many New Yorkers, even before this announcement, were already super frustrated. And they're honestly a little bit happy to see a U-turn, because the city is buckling under the weight of migrant arrivals. Like I said, New York would have been fine. Everyone would have been cool with it if they just took in 1,000 or 2,000, 3,000 migrants, maybe at most 10,000 migrants at the very most. But he takes in 180,000 migrants. That's a crazy amount of number. You got schools, hotels, community centers all being turned into migrant shelters. And just one single mid-sized hotel in Midtown Manhattan is charging the city $7 million a month just to house migrants. And the owners are making a crap ton of money from it. If you know where a lot of the soft border policies are happening, we'll just look at New York City, right? More than 100 hotels in New York City have been converted into emergency shelters at an estimated cost topping $1 billion whopping dollars. New York City homeless shelter population surges 53%. Guys, you have to know the domestic homeless population do not get to stay in hotels, all right? It's only the migrants. And this is also causing like this massive rift and big friction that's happening in New York. You have the residents of New York who are super mad. They pay taxes, and now their tax dollars are being wasted. Infrastructure is really lousy in New York City. Shoplifting is at an all-time high. Crime is super high. It's very difficult to navigate around the city. The subway trains are always slow, and they're also very dangerous. Why can't New York put a little bit of money, just a small trickle, a couple B's into just everyday stuff? And look at this. New York taxpayers also fleece for millions on rushed, overpriced, no bid contracts. And when I'm talking about no bid contracts, we're talking about, security guards standing there for 8 hours getting paid $1,500 a day, getting paid more than internal medicine doctors, getting paid more than pharmacists, physician assistants, engineers, and accountants. That is something that's a little bit wrong. Not to mention the other products and services in the bid, especially their no bid contracts, are extremely expensive. Food, extremely expensive. Hotel stays, extremely expensive. Okay, seems like taxpayers are basically getting fleeced at this point. And it's not just New York State, guys. Chicago, the same exact thing. And it's finally, for once, we're actually got a lot of citizens of Chicago, Denver, and New York City. Many of them are finally standing up. They're putting their feet on the ground. They're saying, stop it. Stop it with the sanctuary city stuff. Our city's running out of money. Our taxpayers get nothing in return. We pay a crazy amount of taxes who live in these cities. Property tax in Chicago, New York are one of the highest, not just in North America, but around the world. And do New Yorkers get anything in exchange? No. And no wonder there seems to be a lot of support behind the trucker boycott. New York kind of needs a change, It's a great city. It really is. I go here for family every year. It's a fantastic city, but not anymore, okay? I think it could definitely improve itself. And New Yorkers are already losing to several other states who are becoming financial hubs, like Miami, who recently just opened up a brand new trading floor. And that's the scary part. Can New York even make this money back in the long term? They're already losing to cities who are hospitality based and gambling based, like Vegas. Already over $1 to $2 to $3 trillion have left New York City in the past couple years. It's not looking great for the city. Hope the city recovers. And comment below, guys, how would you fix New York City?